I'm Sean. I want to thank you for joining us here today for our special roundtable. We're going to have some brothers on talking about end time events, World War III, Elon Musk. And we'll be talking about even the rise of the commandment keepers that's been happening for the last 20, 30 years across the world. Does that play into prophecy? There's a lot to discuss. And before we get going, I want to say a big shout out and hello to all the moderators here in the live chat. Thank you guys for being here, for being so faithful, helping us keep it civil in the live chat. As always, people have a bad attitude, can't control themselves, just mute them for 24 hours. And then we'll hopefully get a better heart, better attitude, and come back later tomorrow. All right, guys. Without further ado, let's bring on our guests. So for joining us first, we have WesBlazeMuziK. Wes, welcome, brother.
Shalom from under the seven domes. What's happening, Kingdom fam?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for being here.
Blessed. Thank you.
Bobby Thorne's joining us here today.
Shalom, brothers. Thanks for having me on.
What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you again. And then,
you too, brother.
Last but not least, is Jo. What's going on, brother? Welcome.
What it, bro, family?
Hey, what's going on? All right, and we may have a surprise guest jump on here in just a few minutes. He's really struggling with some technical difficulties getting things set up, and so we'll see. Hopefully, he'll be able to jump on and join us here shortly. But guys, thank you for joining on today. We wanted to talk a little bit about 2025 has already kicked off to a crazy start. We got the return of Trump in office. He has immediately brought forward people that in the last 4 years have risen to political and social prominence. Not just people like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., whatever his name is, and other people like that he's brought onto his cabinet, but he's also brought into the government efficiency spot Elon Musk, whom supposedly actively operates multiple billion-dollar companies. I don't know how that works. I don't know how he actively does those all at the same time.
It's a lot of
pretty
trust.
amazing. You must have a good team, good assistants, because usually it's enough just to run $1 billion company, but he apparently does multiples. So while having a slew of kids. So a lot of people look at him with suspect, as far as like, how is he doing all this? What's going on? Why is he putting into this place of prominence? Why is there a book in 1960s written about him being the governor of King of Mars? Like what? It's just, there's a lot of unique concepts surrounding this man. So we're just going to talk about that a little bit as well as, the constant in the news has just been talking about World War III for like probably 2 years now, constant strife across the world, political conflicts with Russia and China. And we're just going to possibly share our thoughts and insights on whether this should be something we should be preparing and concerned for, or is it just wars and rumors of wars like Christ warned us? So, guys, who would like to start first?
Good synopsis. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about us, even in the faith community. We got a lot of fringe brothers and sisters of believers who are considering how Elon is supporting and backing the mRNA development for the jabby jabs. And he's also backing and he's putting together the Neuralink is what he's calling it, where it's interface the human brain with technology. And a lot of people consider these kinds of things potential mark of the beast candidates, right? And so therefore, Elon gets dubbed and labeled as a potential Antichrist. And a lot of people go really hard for that idea, and they'll fight for it to, argue until they're blue in the face to tell you that he is absolutely the beast of Revelation, the Antichrist. I go on record, say I don't agree. But there's some similar coincidences, some similar themes that are, related, I guess you could say, and could be interpreted that way, but I don't. What do y'all think?
I think Elon makes me nervous, bro. Like, I think a lot of the things that he's involved with, it just rings like we shouldn't be trusting in, because a lot of the stuff that he's really involved with is technology. And we know mankind is not smart enough by itself to hone this type of technology. So he's getting it from somewhere. I feel like he's getting it from somewhere. And we see throughout the scriptures that mankind is taught by entities, you know what I'm saying? From the heavens. But I look at all of it.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, brother? You just dropped off. Like, we can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me?
Okay, you're back now.
Check.
That was weird. So we missed that last sentence that you just said.
See, there you go, right there. The technology, right? See what I'm saying? They're here. They listening, bro. But yeah, I mean, once mankind puts their faith in things, tangible things other than the Most High, it's a slippery slope. Like, because then we become dependent on things that, you know, Yah is supposed to be there to provide for us. You know what I mean? And indeed, it does. Like, I hear a lot of people talking about how the internet is a horrible thing. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. We can use it for, obviously, we're using it right now for something good, right? But the fact that it's a conduit for wickedness and evil to communicate and possibly control and manipulate and, you know, control mankind pretty much. I can see it as a tool that, you know, they're going to implement it. You know, he's already trying to put, what was that, Neuralink in people's brain. And it's like, come on now. Does that sound normal to
Let's
anybody?
look it on screen here. I got the little breakdown of the implant that they're doing procedures and testing on people to put them in their brains. This is the Neuralink on screen.
Crazy to me.
You know what's interesting about this guy is like before he came on the scene, or I guess he was kind of on the scene already, but he was talking about the mRNA vaccines and stuff, right? And he was talking about how with the right genetic sequencing, I believe is what he said, or genetic code, you could turn somebody into a butterfly. Like, these are things that he has said. And it's wild because back in 2020, when all this vaccine stuff was going on with the ID 2020 and the mRNA, I was doing a lot of research, and it kind of seems like there's some sort of plan to genetically modify us. Like, we already know this and stuff, but now we see 5 years later in the advancement of this technology and where it's at and the bold things that these people have been saying over the past few years. And I just can't help but think that AI is going to play a big role in our government and everything going forth. And I truly believe that they might be opening the door for something.
Oh, yeah.
So you think AI could be basically just start accessing and controlling anyone that has a Neuralink?
I don't even know about that. I go as far as to, like, so I've watched a lot of TED Talks about people who've like kind of helped develop the whole AI stuff and all that, and their warnings that they've sent to people, and they don't even believe that it should be public access until like years and years and years down the road, because what's that thing where it becomes like autonomous, you know what I mean? And it starts like questioning certain things, and you ask it certain questions and they pop up, you know, images on the screen, and you can backtrack these things. And it's a lot of demonic stuff that goes on in the background of it. And it's just kind of like, who knows really? Like, it's definitely a possibility, but I can't really say.
How do we know that if that Neuralink thing can if you can access it, how do we know that it's not going to be able to access us?
Well, it has to, because it's helping. I mean, supposedly in its trial runs, like this guy here at the top, supposedly like it's helping people that have, you know,
Yeah, I've seen him before.
What's it called? Not quite quadriplegic. Basically, it's helping people like do stuff with their brain. Like, it's transmitting signals from their brain to help operate a computer or to do stuff.
Right. And it's actually helping people like with ailments to move their arms again, move their legs again. Like, that tells you right there, when you're tapping into the brain, you're tapping into the cardiovascular, you're tapping into the nerve system. You can control a human by it. That's what I mean. I'm not a scientist, but you can see that they're giving us examples of what it does already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can link up, if you will, any neurons that have been broken from previous injuries or whatnot, how much access does it have, since it's literally physically being put in your brain? How much access does it have to other parts of your brain that go off that same type of electrical impulses? And because that's just supposedly, Now, this is where I want to say supposedly. That's what your brain is just electrical impulses. I think it's more. I think that your heart and your gut actually have something to do. Not just me, but scientists as well in the last 15 years have done studies to find out that your heart and your gut actually have something to do with your thoughts and your brain also, just like scripture alludes to. So I don't
Right.
think Neuralink is solely the brain is solely the place of all thought, reason, human intellect, will, and emotion. I think that your heart and your gut also have something to do with it. And it's all interconnected. So I just don't know. Like, yeah, it does seem very quick, like put into people very quickly, being pushed onto the public very quickly, without the public acknowledgement of trials being done. Now, have they been already working on this for like 20 years behind the scenes? You know how they always say like most technologies already 20 years old by the time we see it.
It's probably way older than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I've read what do they call patents and different things for technologies that are claimed, supposedly, like we were saying, that are claimed that like frequencies, radio waves, and things like that, flicker rates of a screen can influence or manipulate our thought patterns, our brain waves. So yeah, in that sense, for decades, they've been working on things in that vein, right? Technologies that are capable of influencing us.
Right.
All right, guys. Let's welcome Bryson to the panel. Welcome, brother.
Shalom, my
Can you
brother.
actually hear me? Shalom.
Yeah, we can
shalom,
hear
y'all.
you and see
What's
you.
good, my guy?
Chilling. I was
What's
trying
good?
for like a whole 40 minutes to try to get on here on my real setup, and it worked. The camera works on everything but StreamYard. So
Oh man.
You are not alone. It's happened to us too, brother.
yeah,
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome,
Y'all
fam.
too. What's up? What's up?
Big chillin'. I was the guy that accidentally called you Bryson James before.
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that actually happens a lot. So
I
I actually
believe
like
it.
it because it shows that me and Tyson are like in one like thing.
Yeah.
That's what you
Well,
said. You were real cool
Tyson
about
is
it.
that Tyson Gray.
Yeah.
Can't have one without the other, for real,
Facts.
huh?
No, that's great.
That's funny. Hey, if I didn't even think, it's my bad. I've never actually met Tyson, but Bryson, if he's available, he wants to jump on, he can too. It's up. I just don't know him.
I doubt he'll jump on something like this. This ain't
Do y'all
Tyson. This
live
ain't Tyson
nearby?
vibe. No, heck
Okay.
no. He lives in the other side of the country. He lives in Washington State.
Oh,
I'm in
does he?
yeah, I'm in Tennessee, but we go there like probably twice a year, and we typically get a bunch of content. So like throughout the year, we'll post content that we shot, and it make it look like we always with each other.
Hey, why'd I think you was from Texas, bro?
You said me or Tyson?
Yeah, I thought you was from Texas.
Nah, I'm from North Carolina. I live
word.
in Tennessee though. I'm from North Carolina though.
That's what's good. That's what's good. I got a homeboy who actually just moved to Tennessee.
For real, what part? Around Nashville?
Man, I don't even know. My homeboy Davis, he literally just moved out there like a week ago.
Yeah, everybody moving here. My city, Murfreesboro, is the most moved to city one of the most moved to cities in the country.
Yeah,
Damn,
I heard it's
I'm gonna
nice.
have to move out there because I'm trying to leave Cali, bro.
For real.
you with Cali, you got to get up out of
Ain't
there.
nothing, ain't nothing out of here. Ain't nothing over here, bro. Ain't nothing over here. Trust me.
Hey, bro. So what's the word?
Yeah.
What everybody talk about? I'm late.
So
That's
Bryson,
all right.
this stream, it's kind of a unique panel where we want to talk about, is Elon Musk the Antichrist? What about all these commandment keepers popping up all over the world? And then also World War III, is it the final war, or is it just what Christ warned about with wars and rumors of wars? And is there another final war that we got to worry about? So a lot of things that are in the news being propped up last year, if not longer, as far as, fear, trying to put fear into people. And so yeah, just want to get everybody's thoughts.
Yeah, I think Elon, I think he's missing a few qualifications, but I feel like we have anybody like as a one person who's the closest to the Antichrist, it almost has to be Elon Musk because in the book of Revelation, when it says that great signs and wonders, he's putting chips in your brains. I watched the video. I don't know if y'all saw the actual person that got the chips successfully planted. He was playing chess without nothing but his brain.
Yes, wow.
You called it. Yeah.
Like that is a sign and miracle, and he's claiming that this is gonna cure dementia. all types of things that has never been seen in human history. So if Eli's the first person to do it, which I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm watching somebody play chess with their brain. This is like a movie type vibe.
So wait,
You
can
guys,
it can it
you
cure
guys know,
Biden?
like,
Can it cure
You said
Biden?
what?
Can
Can you
it
hear
cure
Biden?
Biden?
I think so. I mean,
Is Biden going to run
chip,
again in 28?
bro. Even the way they do the chip, they literally connect it to the things in your brain to where it's acting as a part of your brain. You don't think that's kind of like crazy? And then his Twitter picture for forever was him in a
Jeez.
satanic costume. Um, he used Bible verses a lot out of context. Clearly, he
So
is
does
an
Satan.
unbeliever. Yeah, he is unbelievable. The only problem is, I think it's in I'm off the top of my head, so y'all forgive me. It's in Isaiah that says the beast will be either asexual or gay.
That's
Uh,
Daniel, I think.
Daniel, right?
Daniel, my bad. Yeah. So I think he's missing that qualification because he's trying to put babies in all types of random women.
That's true.
I mean, quite literally. I just saw another girl pop up 2 days ago
That's
saying she just
yeah.
had Elon's baby. It's just popping up every week now.
Yeah, she like 14 or something now.
Yeah, I think he's at
Around there.
14,
Crazy.
14, 5 or 6 different baby mamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he populating the earth.
Yo, I gotta ask on this note too. Where would y'all place Trump?
He's close too.
He's just
Wow, what a
the
great guy.
Did y'all see the last video of him as the golden calf?
Yeah,
He
pretty
posted?
wild.
Yeah.
I got my eyes on this Sanhedrin meeting that he got invited to. I don't know if y'all know about any of that.
Yeah, I checked that out that you sent,
Well,
bro.
Trump
Yeah,
is
yeah.
an avowed
Interesting.
Zionist. He's publicly avowed Zionist.
Yeah, he got this
Doesn't-
this public invitation to the Sanhedrin, and it's a pretty interesting letter. I don't know how to pull stuff up on this. If y'all want to pull it up, I could send it to one of y'all.
Yeah,
doesn't every president like do a initiation ceremony where they go to the Wailing Wall in Israel and they put on a yarmulke and they do
Not
the
everyone. no.
ritual? Not all of them.
Trump-
I've seen the
Trump
pictures of a lot of
Trump
them.
already did that. I think Trump did that twice or something.
I've seen
already.
Trump do it. Yeah.
Obama did it.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the J.O.? Is this from February 12th?
Nah, this was like maybe it was. Let me see real fast. The date is it is February 12th. You got it?
Hang on a second. I think I found it.
It's the full letter. It's when you read it and stuff, it's pretty interesting because they're really touching on Noahide laws and stuff like that. And they say that he's been chosen like Cyrus was chosen. And it's just like the wording in this is pretty great. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Universal Moral Code. What's that? That's the Noahide laws right there. You know what I'm saying? In which idolatry is a really big thing. And if you think about it, if this sort of stuff is instituted, and I personally think that Trump is he's a Zionist, but I think he's also a crypto Jew behind the scenes. And I won't be surprised if that comes out a little bit later, especially with all the connections and stuff like that. But when I
Crypto
read
Jew, is that on Coinbase? Crypto Jew?
it's that new coin.
Have you guys heard that he got converted to Judaism? Not
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
some years
Nah.
back.
Did he?
I'm not sure.
No, I haven't heard that. I know his family, they're all like, the same pseudo quote unquote Christians that everybody in their mama is.
Yeah.
But the only reason I would say that Trump isn't the Antichrist is because he knows nothing about the scriptures. Like he may be the most biblically illiterate person I've ever seen in my life. They literally asked him for his favorite Bible verse. My man said that's personal. I want to talk about that.
He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing about the scripts.
And so it's like it's almost like how can he even know how to meet some of the qualifications for one of the beasts if he can't even name a Bible verse? But I mean, listen, everybody knows I was one of the most popular Trump supporters. I was actually there. Have y'all seen like the actual golden Trump statue that you see pictures of? I was actually at
Only
the
online.
event. Yeah, so I was actually at the event in Florida when they revealed that, and people were like, some people were joking, but people were like taking pictures in front of it, kneeling to it. There's a picture of somebody kneeling to it. I saw that picture happen live, and I remember telling a few people, I was like, "Bro, this is weird." And then somebody wanted me to stand beside it and rap in the music video. I think it's official DVS. It's official DVS 7.0 video of me in it. And I said, I'm going to stand over here. Y'all can be in front of it. I got to stand in a different location because this is some demonic stuff.
It's weird, huh?
That's wild,
Yeah.
Joe. Hey,
Look,
when you get down to the bottom of this right here, when you keep going down, it talks
Okay.
about how he was invited, and it's interesting the wording that they choose.
We
As a
invite you to meet
divine
with the
role and stuff
Sanhedrin
like
court
that.
rabbis in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Look, real quick though, on this coin. Look, I'm not like, in fighting shape like I used to be, but if I'm gonna have someone draw a profile of me, I'm gonna have them draw out that double chin. I don't understand. I don't understand this. That profile coin is rough. All right,
It's a temple coin. Is that a
They did him
shekel?
dirty.
They wanted to
They
be
did him
true.
dirty.
They want to be true to his nature.
Wow, what a beautiful coin.
He actually lost some weight though, so I'll give him a little.
Quite
credit.
frankly, one of the best coins.
Yo, they really compared this man to Cyrus. Hey, yo.
Fantastic.
Jay Leno. Someone in the comment, that was funny.
all right. So this is what does this mean? Like if he goes, I mean, didn't they do this the first time around though, when he was president?
Oh yeah. But when you get to the bottom of it, they actually have a meeting for an international court that they're trying to get together. I'll be honest with you, I won't even be surprised if he attends and we don't hear nothing about it.
You know what's funny about the Cyrus comparison is if you actually read the story of Cyrus, nothing happened. The temple did not get rebuilt during Cyrus's day. It got procrastinated. It got put off until another king came into power. The initial funding came up, but nothing actually happened because all the Samaritan opposition. So and the people that was living in Samaria that came down to try to rebut against Ezra and Nehemiah building. So like it didn't actually happen during the days of Cyrus. So it's interesting. I mean, I get it. Cyrus is named specifically in Isaiah by God through the prophet and all that, but it's just funny what they try to connect him to, which actually isn't biblical at all.
Huh.
Yeah.
Or maybe they know that nothing really came of that. Nothing really happened, and that's the joke.
Yeah, because I don't think. I mean, again, just like the debate has always been, if that temple gets built, that means you got to wipe out. There's gonna be an Islamic war, right? Because you got the Dome of the Rock is where they want to build it, right?
Right.
Well,
So-
I'm sure. Oh, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. I just said I assume.
I was gonna say though, there is an argument about Islam being the beast too. I know a lot of Hebrew communities hold fast to that one too, and there's some good arguments and stuff, especially when you see the connection that a lot of these people have to the papacy still to this day, and it's just really, really interesting how you explain like the revived Ottoman Empire could actually take place if things continue going the way that they're doing with the Middle Eastern stuff. It's kind of crazy. But if we take that, it would be like 100 years from now when things would really have to set in because they're still building the landscape and stuff, but you can kind of see it in the background right now.
How do y'all feel about what do y'all think? What role do y'all think the Catholic Church and the history of that plays into the Antichrist?
I have some good I have some good friends and some brothers that thoroughly believe that.
The reason why I say that is because have y'all ever talked to a Catholic and they have told you what the church fathers or who the church father says the Antichrist will be and how it's quite literally the opposite? Like, I mean, just flat out the opposite version of what the Bible tells.
Who do they say?
Speak on it. I want to hear that one. I never heard that.
Say so they say basically the Antichrist is going to be somebody that keeps Sabbath for starters, and tell other people to keep Sabbath, and it's going to be a Israelite, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. So like they know, and I was wondering because I was getting cursed out on a space the other day. And the guy was saying, "You're part of the Antichrist system. You're trying to tell people to keep Sabbath." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "I don't think I do the Antichrist system." I said, "Do you know what the Bible says about the Antichrist system?" And then he said, "Well, I know what the church fathers say." Blah, blah, blah. And then Dr. Taylor Marshall, who I'm actually friends with, but he actually told me that this is what the church father says the Antichrist will be. And I said, that is so interesting because the beast will change God's time and laws, which y'all already attempted to do on multiple occasions throughout history.
He's called the lawless one.
Yep, the lawless one. And in Revelation, it says somebody that says they're a Jew, but it's not a Jew. I don't know.
Synagogue of
crazy.
Satan.
Yeah, it's just crazy how it's the opposite of what the Catholics believe. It's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that believe that the Roman Catholic Church themselves are the beast somehow, and that the Pope is the Antichrist. It's hard to get them to pin it down with all the little details and the minutia of the theory, but that's yeah. So we've mentioned a few of them now. I know Jo said there's a theory out there of Islam being the beast, Roman Catholic Church, and then we've talked about Elon being this Antichrist beast figure, possibly. But there was a song I heard one time. I think it's like, "Let's get to that scripture." Doesn't it go like that?
Yeah, that's me. You know?
Yeah, that's you. Okay, that was you. That's right. But so I'd love to look at some of them. What do we got here, Sean? What's this?
This is the fake New Jerusalem that Islam's building in Saudi Arabia. They already began construction on the base.
What?
Interesting.
For real?
Yeah, so this is going to be 10 times. It's going to be able to fit 100 Empire State Buildings inside this macabre, this cube,
Mm-hmm.
and they've already begun construction. And this is the interior is going to have a completely, basically like a huge TV screen all around you, so they can make the environment feel like whatever it is, whatever you want it to be.
Like the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but 100 times that size. Like
Uh-huh.
With
massive.
the AI, bro. With the
Massive.
AI.
So they're going to be supposedly up to 900,000 people will be able to live in this thing, and that's what it looks like. It's going to fit, like I said, 100 Empire State Buildings could fit inside.
Is that outward design like a makeshift pyramid theme or something?
No, it's just a big cube.
No, I'm saying
You know
like the design on the outside of the cube.
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch
It's just
of
some kind of
triangles.
it's just a bunch of triangles and stuff interlaced.
Mm.
That's really interesting. I actually have a little bit of background for that Islamic belief because it's a belief that I've held. So pretty much those four empires in Daniel 7:1 through 28, they arise from the Mediterranean Sea or the Middle East. And if Babylon or Medo-Persia and Greece all arose from and exercised control over the Middle East, so must the fourth beast. Another clear indication that it could be Islam. And all four beasts arise from the same sea and geographical area, which excludes Europe. You know what I mean? And so it goes on with the beast system of Islam and how it will rise from the community of Islamic nations and will be considered Messiah by many, but will not to proclaim Yah's name. And instead, he will proclaim the names of blasphemy, and especially the mark of the kingdom. So it would go, I guess, if you really take a look at it, is that I don't know how y'all feel about Rome, but I'm of the belief that they kind of started Islam, I don't know if y'all know much about that, but
yeah, I've heard that it's like a historical theory, right?
it's interesting.
Muhammad's wife apparently was the daughter of some Roman priest or whatever.
Yeah.
Priest
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually hold a solid stance on any of this. I'm just kind of sitting here, just kind of got my eye on things, just waiting to see what pans out.
Now, have you guys heard me talk about the 6 Saudi Arabia guys that I met? This apartment complex I used to live in when I was in my early 20s, and they all told me about the origins of Islam, how they were taught in Saudi Arabia growing up. It's fascinating because they talk about Muhammad going to the cave to pray and get alone and fast for 3 days, and he saw this black shadowy figure appear in the cave.
The jinn.
Right. It scared him so bad, he ran back to town. And his wife said, he told his wife what happened. His wife said, "You coward. That was God. Go back and talk to him." And so then he goes back, and then he fasts and prays for 3 days, and he sees this thing appear again. And this time it scared him so bad, he ran back home, and his robe had fallen off, and he ran back home naked. So then his wife was mad at him and slapped him in the face and said, "You're embarrassing me, and you're acting like a coward. Get up your nerve and go back and speak. That's God. Go back and speak to him." And then the third time he repeated the process, this thing shows up again. And that's supposedly when he had the courage to stay there and actually talk with this thing. And that's when he got downloaded into his brain the Quran.
Yeah.
And it wasn't written down for several generations, but it was just
I
supposedly.
doubt it.
So that's what they were taught. And now what these guys didn't want to admit, which was then Muhammad came back to his city. His city rejected him. They moved to a city nearby. And then he built an army over the next 10 years and came back and slaughtered everybody in his original city to try to get them to forcefully believe this divine revelation that he'd received from this black shadowy figure.
That is interesting.
You mean he didn't heal anybody or cure anyone of any sickness or give any, blind their sight again? He killed everybody.
Yeah.
I took it as from what I heard. I heard that it was Gabriel that he was encountered in that cave. Is that not true?
Yeah,
I think that's what certain sects of them claim. Yeah.
And if
I'm sorry, J.O., go ahead.
If you look,
go ahead.
If you look into read the scripture, the scriptures that came prior to the Quran. If you read the scriptures, every time an angel presented itself to somebody to reveal something from Yah, if they were afraid or intentionally disturbed from it, the angel always told them, "Be at peace. I come in the name of Yahuwah, be at peace." That didn't happen in that cave 3 times.
No.
How many times?
Yeah, three
3
times.
times?
He was scared to death.
And he
That
said
don't
it was
make
a dark, shadowy figure.
Sound like you said, like a jinn, like a demon or
Yeah.
some type of
There's
Satan.
actually, there's actually verses too that were removed from the Quran, and verses 20 and 21 in the Surah on Najim of the Quran, and they pretty much removed some of these verses. And one of these verses actually talks about what you just said, Bobby. Here, let me pull it up right quick. It says, so Gabriel, one thing about that story with Isha, with his wife, right, is that that's actually his auntie. That whole situation. And so she went to her brother, who was that priest, and that's how they confirmed that, oh, yeah, you're a prophet. So later on, this is one of the verses that was removed, and it says, the angel Gabriel came to the prophet and said, "O Muhammad, what have you done? You have recited to the people something which I have not brought you from God, and you have spoken what he did not say to you." So there's a little bit of a controversy, I guess, because a lot of sects of Islam will respond and say, no, it was an angel. But he thought it was a jinn. You know what I'm saying? Each time he thought it was a jinn. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say it was.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Sorry.
About that New Jerusalem thing you said they were building or were they building that in Israel?
No, in Saudi, in Riyadh.
And
Saudi
Riyadh,
Arabia.
have you ever seen the depiction of the New Jerusalem in Revelation 21?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
Why does it look so similar? Why are they
They
trying to make
did,
it look so similar?
Well, remember
Gold,
they
it's cubed.
they
Yeah.
worship the macabre in Mecca, right? That black box that they all do circles around and chant around.
Yeah.
And the macabre in the corner of it has the paradise stone, which is the stone that they think fell down out of heaven from Artemis. Well, okay, so this goes kind of deep, but I cover this in my Investigating Babylon series. So like the macabre is the supposedly the container box that represents God. That's why they go to it. But the paradise stone, which is this black onyx type of stone that looks like it was dented, is at the corner of it, and they go touch that and they pray when they touch that. Now the paradise stone they think fell down from God, from heaven, but it actually goes back. I think, is it Acts 18 when Paul and Barnabas were in? Let me go see if I can find that verse real quick.
Ephesus.
Yeah,
You talking about the stone that fell from heaven, Diana?
Yeah.
They're worshiping
Yeah.
it as Diana or something like
It's
that.
Acts 19:35.
1935. So let me put on screen for the audience to follow with this real quick.
Jupiter.
Yeah,
Yes.
Zeus.
What?
One
Yeah,
second.
whatever you want to call it.
Ra, Odin, Satan, Azazel, Mastema, Beliar.
So in
That's
Acts
not middle
19,
names.
here we go. Let me get this on screen real quick. My computer's running a little slow right now. How we doing in the live chat, everybody? Everybody doing good?
I got it right here if you want me to read it.
Well, as you know, like I like to do, I like to put it on screen for the audience
Sure.
so they can follow with us. All right, finally, here we go. All right, so you remember they're going on, they're ministering everywhere. Paul and Barnabas running around doing their thing and having great results, and then they get to Ephesus, and there's a riot because they're trying to worship them. No, this isn't the place where they try to worship. All right, so this is where they are worshiping Artemis in Ephesus, which supposedly this particular place, they used to have this like type of a marathon before. It's not quite the Olympics, but they had this big race that they would run up the mountain of Ephesus or of Artemis in order to bring her gifts. It was a part of a celebration they did every year to her. And then somebody would get killed as a result of it because, they always sacrifice some people. And so is this the one? Hang on, let me see here.
Yeah, verse 35.
Yeah. Well, it says that the whole world worships Artemis right here in verse 27. And then down here in verse 35, it says, finally, the city required the cloud. Men of Ephesus, don't everyone know that the city of Ephesus is guardian of the temple of the great Artemis and of her image, which fell from heaven. So when you actually when you research what was the image of Ephesus back in the day in Asia Minor, and it was supposedly a rock, a black stone that's called the Paradise Stone that fell out of heaven.
Connection.
And that's literally what is in the corner of the Macabre in Mecca that Islamists go to every year, chant and praise and worship and go around.
Yeah, thousands of people run by it and lick it and kiss it and do all that weird stuff.
So I think that could Islam be a part? Could Islam be like, is it? I mean, because one, a lot of people argue the Antichrist is just a kingdom, and others argue it's a person, and others say, well, you know, Daniel 7 describes it as both a king who owns a kingdom. You know what I mean? So it's like synonymously referenced. Me personally, and we can get into this later, I just want to hear everybody's thoughts, but I think Revelation tells us his name and that he will be over a kingdom because he says he's empowered by Satan to go out and persecute people. So, but what do you guys think about that?
I got a few slides prepared, but if anybody else wants to go first, you can.
I'll sit back.
Okay.
Watching.
All right, Wes, let me put this up here.
All right. Let me pull up my little controls. So real quick, let me fly through some of this. We got just an image, a graphic here to show you a little bit of a timeline because we're looking at a qualifier that we already have Bryson mention that there's some qualifiers that Elon Musk doesn't quite fit. And I would argue that the Roman Catholic Church nor the Islamic nation or religion fits those qualifiers either, because these qualifiers that we see just illustrated here is these 7 trumpets. So this gives some time indication. We have a 42-month, 1,260-day, 3.5 year period of time that the beast is said to have power. And then immediately following that 42-month reign is the 7th trumpet, which kicks off the millennial reign. The kingdom comes down, the resurrection, Yeshua returns, all that good stuff. So just real quick, first trumpet, we have the hail and fire mixed with blood thrown down. 1/3 of the trees, the earth, and all the green grass is burned up. The second trumpet, a great mountain burning with fire is thrown in the sea. That might have something to do with that investigating Babylon topic we were just talking about with the image of Artemis. But nonetheless, 1/3 of the sea becomes blood. 1/3 of the sea creatures die, and 1/3 of the ships are destroyed. That's the second trumpet. The third trumpet, wormwood falls on 1/3 of the rivers and springs. 1/3 of the waters become wormwood and many men die. The fourth trumpet, 1/3 of the sun, the moon, and the stars are struck and are darkened. And 1/3 of the day and 1/3 of the night is without light. At the fifth trumpet, here is, to me, the biggest qualifier that tells you when this beast character steps on the scene, because the beast is called the lawless one, the Antichrist. I would argue that these are names that are synonymous for the same character. Fifth trumpet is when the angel descends from heaven and opens up the bottomless pit. That's a key qualifier for the place and the location, I think, where the beast is going to come up out of. And we'll see that in a second. Locusts, these creatures that are described as locusts, ascend up from the pit, and they torment man for 5 months. And it says they have a king over them. And as Sean already mentioned, that king is named Abaddon in the Hebrew, which is the word for destruction, and also a word for a bottomless pit that's in the earth. Apollyon in the Greek, and that also means to destroy in the Greek. And we would say that is the beast of the pit, and he reigns for 42 months. As I said and mentioned, Revelation 9:11 tells us he comes up out of this bottomless pit. Revelation 11:7, there it is again, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit. Revelation 17:8 again, the beast that you saw was and is not and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. So I interpret that to mean that he was and is not, meaning he was alive at one point and he's not anymore, but he will be alive in the world of the living again when he ascends up out of this bottomless pit. For anybody that may not be familiar, we understand the biblical creation model enclosed by layers of heavens with a circular plane of the earth. up above an underworld, right? Subterranean compartments. There's 2 or multiple for the souls of the dead, where they're preserved until the resurrection and judgment. But then there's this lower compartment known as Tartarus in the Greek and Abaddon in the Hebrew. We would say this is where he comes up out of. As we mentioned, he's named. He's given a name that I never hear. The people that talk about the RCC, the Roman Catholic Church, the Islam, the Elon, I never see anybody mention this name that we're given. But when you look at the history of that name, the Greeks, the Romans, they believed in their pantheon of gods, and Zeus's right-hand man would have been Apollo.
Nimrod.
And that's, yeah. And so we that goes all the way back. You can look at the different themes represented in the mythologies and the religious stories about each of these characters to each of these regions and their religions. But it goes all the way back to Nimrod, king of Babylon. And so to the Assyrians, or he's also called the Assyrian in scripture as well. Hammurabi to the Babylonians, Gilgamesh to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians. A lot of lore surrounding this character, where in pretty much each of these mythologies, this character becomes a king of the underworld. And so that's exactly what we see, is a king come up out of the bottomless pit. And so we also see Baruch talking about this same character, this beast, this Antichrist, that Daniel and Revelation say he will speak blasphemies and speak great things in his heart against the Father, against the Most High. Second Baruch, the Apocalypse of Baruch, names this the king of Babylon, who will arise, right? Come up out of the bottomless pit. Micah 5:4-6, he will arise and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of his name, of the name of the Lord of God, Lord his God. This is talking about Yeshua. But then it goes down to say, when the Assyrian invades our land, when he tramples on our citadels, the Assyrian being the same beast character, then we will raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 leaders of men. They will shepherd the land of Assyria with the sword, the land of Nimrod at its entrances. So we have more connection talking about this Assyrian, this Apollyon character, connected to the land of Nimrod. And we would say that's with good reason, because it's the same character. Revelation 17 is what directly tells us the beast, that he was and is not and is to come. And then in verses 9-11 of Revelation 17, it says the beast which was and is not is himself also an 8th. And it's of this list of kings, it says. So Revelation 17 tells us that the beast is a king who comes up out of this bottomless pit. He only gets 42 months. So when we're looking at these different theories, you got a lot of people say Nero. Nero actually reigned as the emperor of Rome for 14 years, and he was born in Antium, Italy. He never came up out of a bottomless pit, and he didn't only reign for 42 months. What's happening?
Wes, don't you understand? We're in the small season right now, my guy.
That's what they say, my friend. I'm here to say none of this has happened yet. None of this has happened. So 42 months doesn't even kick off until the bottomless pit is open and the king of the abyss comes up out of there. And he only gets 42 months. So even if that were a day for a year prophecy of that 1260 days being really 1260 years, I don't believe it is. But the Roman Catholic Church has been in power for 1500 years, since the 4th century, right? So I don't think they meet the qualifier for the prophecy. The Antichrist beast only gets the 42 months. And to say that any of these people or churches or leaders were the Antichrist is to make void the prophecy. And it's in contradiction, I think, to what God's word says. I think that's all I got for right now. We'll come back to the other parts. But what do y'all think about any of this?
All right.
I got questions.
So before we, let me just add on real quick a couple sentences to what he just said. You did a great job with this presentation. Give us little time qualifiers, breakdowns, historical concepts, both Old and New Testament. It's also this guy that comes up out of this pit, Apollyon. That's an actual real name. It's the Latin transliteration of the word Apollo, which is an ancient Greek god. So, like, if you're in the days of John on the island of Patmos, which is 1st century AD, and someone mentions the word Apollo, you know exactly what they're talking about. Like, this is not
right.
It's not code for somebody else. Like, there's
only one Apollo at that time when he was.
Well, when you're talking about someone that can do this kind of thing, like there's dudes called Apollo in the New Testament, right? Because people will be named after these gods. But when it's talking about people coming up out of the pit who control these locust-like things that are prepared for battle, that's literally the history of the Greek god Apollo. So let me go to that real quick. This is a guy, this guy right here. His name is Parnasion, I think. Let's see,
And he had to have died, right?
Pausanias. I'm sorry, it's Pausanias. So this is an ancient Greek, like historian, traveler type guy, Pausanias. And in his writings, he talks about Apollo and how he was called. One of the epitaphs, or one of the additional names that they gave Apollo, was the Locust King.
Interesting.
Because he actually he would, let me see how I can say right here.
I've looked into this. I just have questions on how it would all kick off, to be honest with you.
So it says that Apollo, the ancient Greek god, is associated with locusts through the writings of Pausanias. They called him the Parnopion. Parnopion was an additional name given to Apollo, the ancient Greek god, which means the locust god in Greek. And
are you reading Koine Greek right now?
No, bro, I can't read Koine Greek. No, but so basically, that's why when John's writing and he's talking about this guy named Apollo, whom they all, all these Greek people and all that region would know, just like they know who Artemis is, just like they know who Zeus is, and you go to the Egyptian equivalent of Apollo, you get Osiris.
Yeah.
Whom is the only ancient god in all the pantheons of gods that is destined to return at some point. And that's the fascinating part, in my opinion.
And he was made the god of death and underworld in their religion, right? In the Egyptian. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he took over that job from Hades, and then in the Egyptian writings, they say that Ra, which would have been the Zeus equivalent, that Ra basically took him in as second-hand man and made him lord of the underworld. But what's unique about him, though, is that he is considered the god of resurrection because he's destined to come back at some point.
Interesting.
That's what they believed. Yep. And the Norse, the Norse Germanic, who believed in Odin, which would be who we understand Satan to be. They believe the same thing about Balder, is one of their gods. It was going to come back during Ragnarok, the battle of the gods at the end of time.
You mean the destruction of their sky city?
Yeah, exactly.
So y'all believe Odin, the pagan god Odin, y'all believe he's Satan?
We believe Satan appeared to many cultures and many religions and was the king and chief god of their pantheons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Apollo, he's Zeus's son, correct?
Yeah, the right hand. Well, that's one of the lores about him. We don't believe that Satan had any children literally. That's the
okay.
That's what would set apart Satan from the angels who were imprisoned in Tartarus, whereas Satan didn't sleep with any women.
So my question is, when it says basically Apollo, so you believe that Apollo is the Antichrist?
I think he's the first beast that's mentioned in Revelation 13 that Satan gives all the power to.
Okay, and then you're saying that Cyrus is going to be the one that is coming, and that's what y'all believe is Antichrist?
No. The Apollyon character is the one that's destined, according to the ancient pagan religions. Yeah. He's the one that's destined to return to the earth and rule with destruction. Which is what's being described in Revelation 9 about this Apollyon who comes up out of the pit and makes war.
I was saying that I think that the Antichrist and the beast are synonymous, that the first beast is the Antichrist.
So what's interesting, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bryson.
No, I was going to say, isn't another part of the lore around Apollo is that he's a twin brother of Artemis or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Brother wife, sister wife.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So this is where, if you look into, a lot of people hate the word syncretism, but if you look into the ancient cultures, you see that so many of them, they had the same pantheon of gods, but they just called them different names because they spoke different languages.
Yeah.
So like when they walked away from the Tower of Babel, they were already worshiping Jupiter, according to the writings of Josephus,
which was Marduk.
Jupiter was like the old version of what then later became Zeus, to the later Greeks. So like they were already, like everyone at the tower was already worshiping Jupiter, which I would say is Satan to the Hebrews. And this is where, like in Revelation 2, you talk about the temple, the seat of Satan in Pergamum. It's an actual temple to Zeus that was there. It was the biggest one in the region. So anyway, but I'm trying to give some brevity here. But what I think is interesting is that this first beast that comes out that gets all this authority to act for 42 months and blaspheme God and his temple in heaven and make war against every people, tribe, tongue, and nation. This guy is doing this in the authority of Satan, but his image is the one that is made by the second beast.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's a second beast that comes up and makes an image of this first beast and then forces people to worship that image. So the second beast is forcing people to worship the image of the first beast. Now, what's unique about this, Bryson, in history is that this guy, the second beast, does anyone, before I say this, has anyone ever heard like a theory for who the second beast is and like his name or something like that?
I heard it from you.
Oh, you already watched that video?
I watched the whole series.
Okay. So yeah, basically this guy's mentioned in Jeremiah. So this was who they would refer to as Hades in the ancient world, or Hermes. In fact,
Nurgle.
Yeah, he would be called Nurgle to the Akkadians and the Mesopotamians, the Babylonians.
Or Nebo.
We get the word Nurgle used multiple times in Jeremiah because it was attributing some of the false gods they were talking about. So Nurgle, his story was that he was like the friend of Apollo or Osiris. And he was like, basically he used to be the right-hand man to Satan until Osiris came up and kind of usurped his place. So that's why if all that's true from the ancient pagan nations, when we see these same concepts translated into the Hebrew mindset, you see Satan still ruling as the top guy who gives authority to this first beast character, this Apollo guy. That's consistent with the claims of the ancient world around Israel. And then there's this other guy named Nurgle or Hermes. In fact, they actually called him Hermanubis at one point, which is crazy.
Anubis, and
Anubis, like the Greeks came and ruled Egypt for like 1,000 years. And so they just kind of like mixed some of the names of the gods together because they were literally the same gods. They knew in the order of hierarchy, they knew it's the same people, but they just, because they spoke different languages, they've been calling them different things. But when the Greeks came and they ruled over Egypt for 1,000 years, they literally turned Anubis into Hermanubis because it was the same character. And it was someone that was extremely good with magic, extremely good with raising people from the dead. And he was like one of the main magicians to Zeus or Ra. And so it's interesting to me that you have this second beast who is supporting the first beast that's been given all this power by Satan and causing people to worship him, because that was literally like Anubis's job was he would go and promote the fame of Ra and Osiris. And in fact, in ancient Egypt, Anubis, he was over the 9 bows of Egypt. So he is actually represented not just in ancient Greece, but in Egypt and also the Mesopotamian kingdoms in Babylon. He's represented as a lion who sits on, who is represented as a war god. And that's
question
why,
real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Sean, is Nebu, is that synonymous with Nego? As in like
It depends on the translations. WesBlaze, you're muted. And now, not a bad. Yeah, like if they gave them their Babylonian names. Yeah.
They did,
Right.
yeah. It was Abednego was
Yeah.
no, the Babylonian name for Azariah, right, was Abednego, and that literally translates to servant of Nebo or Nurgle. It's the same character, yeah.
So like if you're in Egypt, he would have been
know
called
that.
servant of Anubis.
Mhm.
So this is what's crazy, guys, because like Anubis is worshipped like in so many cultures in modernity as well. And they actually still have a statue to Hermanubis in the Vatican right now.
I don't doubt it.
It's
I
crazy.
don't doubt that at all. They
I
worship all
don't doubt
types of
that.
them.
I didn't know that though.
Do you think that they involved in the mystery school system and masonry and all that?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
why?
mean,
Why not?
That's my
I
thought.
mean,
As I'm
we're
listening to
talking,
this.
yeah, we're talking Hermes, right? So like Hermes to the Greeks was the guy that was super smart and was lead magician and
Yeah.
so absolutely.
That's where Hermeticism came from, right? Hermes.
I asked because we all had a mutual friend who's no longer like walking in the faith, and we took some time to study out these beliefs and where it heads and where it leads is kind of in the similar direction right here. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. In fact, here's the picture right here of the statue in the Vatican.
Because when you break down like masonry and stuff, and you go back to like who they believe is like the head of masonry and stuff like that, it all kind of goes.
Oh,
back to
okay. Yeah, I
Nimrod.
know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
See, he's got the dog head. like
Yeah, that's
Anubis, and then it's
yeah.
got the Hermes staff with the
Right.
snakes and the Hermetic symbol.
Interesting.
You guys ever heard of that?
Interesting.
When U.S. presidents do inauguration, the Freemasons do some secret type of occultic ritual in the background somewhere where they supposedly conjure up Osiris to enter into whoever they're putting up. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard of something like that. Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called. There's a name for it,
Hmm.
but I think Rob Skiba was touching on that when he was referring to the Antichrist being Nimrod, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
These
how
are big
Osiris-
names in the occult for sure.
yeah, same name. It's just different cultures have a different take on his name. You know what I mean?
Do you guys
So
remember
what-
this? You guys see this picture on the right hand side? You guys remember this in 2011 when they toured Anubis around the United States?
Yeah, they took it on tour.
That's
It's like,
crazy.
why?
Bro.
Wasn't
They
it
had a
at the
statue. They
Denver
put him on a-
airport?
They put
I
him
was
on a
just about to
float.
say, my earliest memory of the Denver airport, I used to go fly to Georgia every year. I remember seeing that dude right there in one of the baggage claim areas back in the day. That was like my earliest memory of that
Well,
place. It was
He did
wicked.
make a top. He did make a stop at the Denver airport for a photo op, but like they put him on a barge through the river system of the United States and took him across the entire United States when Obama got in office.
Paraded him.
Yeah, like intentionally. So it's just fascinating because like
Symbolic.
yeah, the second beast is the one who goes and makes war against the nations to force them to worship the first beast. So he's the enforcer. That was the role of Anubis back in the day. That was the role of Hermes. That was the role of Nergal back in the day.
Can we hit a pause and talk about what does that practically look like? Because a lot of people these days were taught like a very loose and watered down version of the definition of worship. They think that, oh, if you just like somebody that's in the political sphere, or you turn on the TV whenever they're on TV, that's somehow some kind of worship. But when Revelation says that the people will worship the beast in his image, we're talking about like old school idolatry, where they will literally set up an altar in front of a statue, an idol, right? And these guys are going to quite literally do altar sacrifices to these characters, are they not?
Yeah, Bryson, you remember last, like, was it almost 2 years ago now, right? We were on that panel with a bunch of Trinitarians.
Yeah.
Like Seiko and Don was on there and everybody, and they were talking about, and I had to stop him and try to slow him down and say, can we just define what worship is real quick? Because they kept saying, you know, how are you going to worship multiple gods if you bow to Jesus, but he ain't God, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to explain to him that worship, there's temple worship, and then there's actual just bowing to someone who's a ruler, right? That's called worship in the Bible too. And that's where sometimes it gets conflated, you know?
So who do y'all think? Well, Sean, let me say not y'all. Let me say Sean. It's like people, everybody have different views. So who do you think the Antichrist is? Because I think Wes Blaze said he think the first beast is the main one. Who do you believe the Antichrist is, and do you believe they're on Earth now? Have they come? How does it look when they do come, or if you believe they haven't yet?
That's my question too.
Okay, all right. So I take a historical approach, what I call a contextual historical approach, which is what I've been trying to show. The names of these people that are being mentioned in the Bible from history, these are not spoken in a void. Like John's not getting this vision and then just leaving it as a mystery to the readers in the first century AD. Like they all knew these names of who these people were. And so I think Satan is still the angel that's been running around. Like he's the one that they worship as Zeus to the Greeks and as Ra to the Egyptians. And I think he's still running around seeking whom he may devour, right? He's not locked away yet. And then the one who is locked away is this Osiris, or this first beast character, this Apollo.
Yeah.
Apollo. Now in the Greeks, Apollo is also synonymous with the phoenix, who's the god that was coming back. So like it's a unique concept about John getting this revelation that out of this bottomless pit, which is crazy because, you know, regular men usually don't come up out of a pit out of the earth of any kind and are still alive. Right. So it's, and they're not called a king over these these creatures that are described as like weird hybrids. They have the hair of a woman, the face of a man, the teeth of a lion. You know, they're dressed as battle. They're flying in the air like locusts. Like it's a unique, weird hybrid that it's describing. But that's actually what Apollo in addition to being considered the locust god, he was also the king over the centaurs. Do you know what an ancient centaur was, you guys?
Half horse, half man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like supposedly Apollo had an entire squad that was like a special fighting force of centaurs that he commanded of these hybrid Nephilim type chimeras. And so that we're seeing like these horses dressed for battle in Revelation 9 that have these weird stinger tails that have these weird, hair like women, face like men, like this weird hybrid looking thing that's being described. And that is transhumanism. Like that is a part of what's being promoted right now with transhumanism, is that we can take aspects of different creatures and put them together to enhance humanity and make them better through adopting animal DNA of different types. That's just one facet of transhumanism. And so I think that the reality that we're going to see in the future is like straight biblical, straight old school biblical, like chimeras. Ancient Apollyon returns literally to destroy. That's why he's called the Destroyer. And he's doing this under the authority of Satan. And then he goes out to persecute all peoples, nations, tribes, and tongues, specifically the people of God, specifically
So
the nations.
you think a chimera, because I mean they had one successful one, but only lived for like 2 weeks. So you think they're gonna
That-
get what?
That
Well,
they've told us about.
yeah, they told us that they have one that only survived 2 weeks, which means they probably got stuff going on behind the scenes. And that was with a pig. So they had the pig, the pig with the human organs.
Yeah.
Because the insides of pigs and some of the insides of humans is kind of similar. So you think this is gonna end up being horsemen, which is, I mean,
I
it's
think
not
I think
very-
these are actually demonic entities that come out of the pit with Apollyon.
Specifically the locust creatures. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
I think what we're seeing described in Revelation 9, this weird hybrid looking thing, is just the host bodies created for these demonic entities to come out. Because this is what the book of the Apocalypse of Baruch talks about in the end times. That there, I think it's in
Shadim.
chapter 27, and it talks about the Shadim, which go out to attack mankind. So the
Okay, so
Shadim is the Hebrew word for demons.
Mhm.
yeah. So you believe Apollo's gonna come out of bottomless pit with this army of chimeras?
That's
essentially.
what Revelation 9 says. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the Antichrist, is what you're saying.
And,
So
and that's why the world is immediately thrown into crazy chaos. That is why they have the power to overcome all nations. And that's why Revelation 14 talks about, this requires patience on behalf of the saints, because it's going to be crazy. Like it's,
Endurance. Yeah.
it's going to be ancient world. Like I think we're not used to what the ancient world saw.
Mm-mm.
I think there were truly chimeras in the ancient world, but we just can't fathom it because we don't see them walking around today.
And Bryson, just for the sake of continuity and clarity for y'all's questions you were asking, I wasn't teaching anything different than what I've learned from Sean. Pretty much everything I showed y'all a minute ago with those slides, Sean has already presented on in the past.
okay. My other I got a few questions to keep it a band. I'm a question guy. I like
That's good.
understanding with
Don't ever be a yes man. Ask questions.
So my next question is, what role, though, if any, do you think the Catholic Church plays in this, or Islam plays in this, if any? Because you said they have the statue.
Yeah.
And of course, half the things they celebrate come from paganism and pagan gods.
Yeah.
I mean, including the Gregorian calendar, which was instituted by Pope Gregory, and quite literally, every day. What's today? Today the Odin's Day? Oh no, it's Sunday. Never mind. That's the sun.
Day of the rising sun, right?
Yeah. So like everything is based on these pagan gods. Well, why would a Christian Pope do such a thing and have it inspired by the Babylonian calendar? Who knows? But do you think they play a role, if anything, or like Catholic, Islam? I would say Christianity, period, but it's pretty much just diet Catholicism. So, what do you think about that?
So that there is a set of kings, and it's 7 kings or 10 kings that give their authority to the beast when he comes. Roman Catholic Church might be one of those kings, huh?
Revelation 17 talks about the beast who is on those 7 mountains, or who's basically has control of the 7 mountains, and it defines those as 7 kingdoms. So I think the Catholic Church is the whore that rides the beast in Revelation.
Okay.
I think she's, because that's how she's over many peoples. That's referred to as many waters.
Yeah, water's
So I
represented
think,
as
yeah. So I think because she's in almost every country, and she has been for a long time. And I think the beast, when he returns, he's gonna turn on her and destroy her. I'm actually preparing a video on this right now for my 42 series about all the subliminal things put into TV and movies that show the future destruction of Vatican Hill.
yeah.
And so I think that this right here, this is the Vatican courtyard, Bryson, we're looking at on camera here.
Hmm.
And this is a unique concept that's also in the Vatican that represents the Eye of Ra.
I seen that thing in the sky.
Say what?
I seen that in the sky.
He's
Where?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
J.O.
yeah.
has seen.
West.
Where?
It's crazy. So I was leaving my grandma's in Castle Rock. This is 2020, and I step outside and we're walking to the car, and we see this like it was red, but it was only red because the sunset was red, but it was like an object in the sky that kind of like mirrored what was like around. I don't know how to explain it, but I pointed it out and my whole family saw it. And we were like, what the heck is that? It looked like in Star Wars the Death Star. It looked like that.
Well,
But
how
it looked
big do you
like
think it is? What are you seeing? Like way up in the sky, or is it like right behind your apartment?
No,
building?
it was
What are you
way
talking
up in
about?
the sky, like kind of like where like the moon and stuff would be. But it was bigger, so it was a lot closer than the moon. And we were like, yo, let's go to the other side of the property to go see this. So we're walking, and it had to been like just 10, maybe 20 seconds of us not being able to see it, and we get back in sight and it was gone.
Man,
It was
so-
yeah, and it looked just like that.
Yeah. So this thing, Bryson, is all throughout history.
Hmm.
This it's actually in there's these statues are in Tel Aviv. There's one in New York, near the observance of the Trade Center destruction. There's some more in other countries I can't remember right now, but these little spheres are symbolic of the Eye of Ra, which is considered to be represents the wisdom of Satan and the home of Satan.
The stylization of that eye looks like a reptile eye, the way the pupil is
For
going
real.
up. And,
Right in the middle.
Isn't that wild?
I
So
gotta
you don't
ask.
think?
So what's
Oh,
this
go-
doing
go-
in the
go ahead,
Vatican
sorry.
courtyard?
y'all tell me.
They love
What
it.
just like why do they have an entire amphitheater shaped like a serpent?
I'm gonna write
They
a
love
letter. We'll find out.
Bryson, you seen that?
No, I
Have
have
you
not.
have you seen their serpent amphitheater in the Vatican?
No.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, bro. With the
Oh,
eyes
it's
and
wild.
fangs and whatnot.
Hey,
What?
then they got that one with like the Satan in the background, like a statue
So-
too. Oh yeah,
so you
there it
s-
is.
You see this? This
That's
is-
architecture.
so like
Real.
the seats are at the front of this picture, but the stage, which is at the very back, is in between the two fangs, and that's actually where the Pope sits when he gives big announcements. But this, if you walked into this amphitheater from the back, this is what you would see.
Hey, blow that up a little bit.
I'm trying. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find a better picture.
Yo, I gotta ask, man. Do you think that there's a connection between Hiram Abiff and Nimrod? Because when I was researching Freemasonry and stuff, I found a very big connection there, and that would be a tie-in right there on how this could all come right back around. Because Hiram Abiff was considered like a son of ISIS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, 1 second.
Very
see if I can just
possibly, huh?
blow this up. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
So this is the back
the
of the
windows
theater, and when the Pope comes out and does this huge, I don't know, I guess it's some type of church service they have, but he sits in between the fangs on stage.
No shot. It is looking weird though.
That is crazy.
So, and of course the Jesus rising out of hell is that statue that sits behind him.
Oh yeah, I see that one.
Uh,
Like this is like this ain't art, bro. Like they're really exposing who they are is what they're doing, and it just goes over people's heads, bro.
That's
Signs
crazy.
and symbols.
Another
so-
question I have is, what do you
look-
feel about
is
Revelation
it.
12? The red dragon. You believe that's saying?
see if I can blow this up.
Hey.
Yeah, I think the red dragon is Satan, because it calls him later in Revelation 20 the ancient serpent, the dragon, who is
Yeah.
Satan.
How about the woman?
So in Revelation 12, that
Yeah.
gave birth to the man child.
That's the church, no?
Yeah, so this is that theater that I just showed you the back of, but this is the stage where he sits, and this there's the fangs, which are the big support pillars, and then the Pope sits in the center. And then this big wooden statue behind him is carved to supposed to show Jesus rising from nuclear war, from the apocalypse of nuclear war. But it's like a demonic looking Jesus who's like a half starved skeleton. Looks like he's a vegan, and he's like coming up. He's coming up out of hell, basically. It's the craziest thing you would ever have behind supposedly someone giving a sermon about God.
I think all the depictions of Jesus is kind of demonic, but that's just me.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, and of course, it talks about the Babylon being robed in purple, which is the color for all their priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Crimson and scarlet, and
scarlet and crimson.
Seventh Day Adventists are really big on
crimson and purple.
Scripture
Right
right there.
Yeah,
right.
Crimson and purple.
Wasn't there something?
You're
with
right, Bobby.
Temple too.
Yeah, word.
So I think that the Catholic system is the whore that rides the beast, and that's why it says once she served his purpose, he turns on her and destroys her. Because when he returns, they ain't gonna be worshiping. They ain't gonna be having this fake concept of we worship Jesus, but we've got all these other catechisms and sacraments and things that distract you from Jesus. It's just they're not gonna even allow that type of stuff anymore. When the beast returns, it's gonna be like straight. You got to worship him and nobody else, and then all other religions got to bow. So that's the way I kind of interpret some of this stuff.
How about the woman? So you say the woman is the church in Revelation 12?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why, of course, the dragon goes after those
People
who
that keep
commandments.
God's commandments and the testimony of Jesus.
Yeah, and that's where the rise of the commandment keepers in this modern day is a unique thing culturally, because that people weren't be called that like 100 years ago. You weren't calling Christians commandment keepers for the most part, right? Like you would just say what denomination you go to. You go to Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Catholic. Like, who are you? What kind of Christian are you? But now you got an entire group of Christians that are being like, you know what? Just call me a commandment keeper.
Yep.
That brings me to one of my slides. Go ahead.
So I was going to get this and just say it. Why not? So a lot of people in the world, in the church, they call themselves remnant, right? I personally feel like people shouldn't call themselves remnant if they're not keeping the commandments. Because basically the scripture gives us a very, very specific, detailed prerequisite of who are called the remnant, right? And I see this word thrown around a lot, hashtag remnant. This, you know what I mean? I would say personally, if you don't keep commandments, if you don't specifically keep the 10 commandments, Sabbath day, please don't call yourself the remnant.
For real.
It's getting old, bro. It's really getting old.
Remnant biz is what it is.
You know what I mean?
Well, you can't be a remnant if you're not doing that.
Big
I mean, it's very specific. You know what I mean? It's very specific. Those who keep the commandments and the testimony of Yeshua. So
yep.
You can't have one and call yourself something. You know what I'm saying?
It's actually a big deal back in like the days of, Jeremiah for a remnant to be spoken of, because like the whole nation had went apostate, except for like a small group of people, like in the days of Elijah too.
Elijah. Yep.
It was a big deal to be called a remnant. It wasn't just they just didn't throw that term around.
Yeah, Elijah thought he was by himself, and then God said he got to remnant the people.
Yeah. So it can feel like that out here, right? Because we're all scattered about across the world, people trying to actually do the whole Bible. It can feel like you're by yourself.
I was on what's that the people call 119 Ministry? They have that little map thing on there. It's like a bunch of people just like so spread it out. It's like it's rarely, even where I'm at in Tennessee, there's not even really any congregations. There was one that I was going to, but that dude, he done switched up. I don't know what he on now. The pastor, he on something a little different, gang. And I say, yeah, I had to piece up out of there.
Hey, so how y'all feel about Israel being the whore?
How are we defining Israel?
Nah, I mean like not like real Israel, but like Zionist state Israel. Because I've heard that argument too, and it seems a little valid.
I don't have any thoughts on it.
Nah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, the only reason one of the bigger reasons I disqualify and I lean towards the Catholic Church being the whore that rides the beast is because when the beast comes out, starts that 42 months of aggression against the world, he turns on the whore and devours her. So the attack on Israel, to my understanding, when I put all these pieces together, the 10 kings who come across the Euphrates and the Battle of Armageddon, which is in the Valley of Jezreel, 200 miles north of Jerusalem, and then also the Zechariah 14, the armies that come against Jerusalem, that seems to be like right at the second coming, which would be at the end of the 42 months.
Okay.
Because you also got those two witnesses that are prophesying 42 months and can't be killed until 3 days before they're resurrected, which I think is the moment that Christ returns.
Doesn't it also say as part of that final war, right, while we're on the topic, that the beast will trample down the holy city, like the ground-based Jerusalem?
That's a good point.
Is that Daniel 7, right?
I think it's in Revelation as well.
It's interesting you say that though too, because as you were talking about that, Sean, I remember like the visions of Thelema and stuff like that they've had on the Catholic Church about visions of it being torn down and ransacked and all that. So it's someone
there's a ton of I don't know how you guys feel about this, but to me, I think there's something called revelation of the method, and the news media and entertainment industry are massive arms of propaganda for the enemy to affect social change and to socially program. But but multi-purposed within that, they also get to reveal the method that they're doing so that they can claim, well, these people just fell for it. We told them what we were doing.
Right.
So it's kind of like a principle, like an unspoken principle, if you will, from the occult. Is like
it's kind of like they're not lying to you. They already told you the truth. What was going to happen? You just accepted it.
It's white magic.
It's kind of desensitizing.
Yes.
So
at the same time too,
because you know how many shows have popped up, people analyzing all the forms of media that showed the Twin Towers coming down before it happened. Right. It was just even in the Ninja Turtles, man. I used to watch the Ninja Turtles when I was a kid eating cereal. Even in the Ninja Turtles, they're showing the Twin Towers coming down and getting attacked. And you're just like, that's a specifically, because there's a whole bunch of other landmarks, even in the US, that they could have focused on.
Yeah.
But so there's two things that I haven't really made videos on yet, but I'm working on them to show all the different things. And one is the destruction of the Vatican, and the other one is the destruction of Los Angeles from a nuclear, what they're going to call a nuclear weapon. And so there's a ton of predictive programming and a ton of media throughout the last 30 years of the Vatican being destroyed completely with fire. And so not just Vatican City, but all the land around it and everything. So I think it's fascinating to me that there's not any of that when it comes to modern Israel, the tourist location of Israel today.
Nah. And it was Revelation 11:2 that says
that could also be propaganda.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I could be wrong in all this. I'm just trying to do my best to put all this stuff together. Yeah.
How about the synagogue of Satan? Who are the people that say they're Jews but are actually not Jews?
Who claims that they are Jews today?
A lot of people. I mean, it could be the Jews in Israel currently. It could be the Catholic Church. They call themselves the New Israel.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, could be Black Hebrew Israelites. I thought they're too much of a small sector, though.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would kind of negate them from it because it's really, really small.
I lean towards that Israel, the priesthood in Israel that'll probably come out from that Sanhedrin. Honestly, that's probably where I go.
Oh, you mean, Bryson, you asking about in the days of Revelation 2 when it's mentioned, or or do you think that name carries over into modernity? And it's
2:9 and 3:9 where it mentions a group that claim to be Jews but are not, and it said they're synagogue of Satan. I was just wondering what group of people do you think that is, or anybody here think that is?
The synagogue term definitely sounds like Judaism, like a religious sect of people who say they're Jews. But in it, Paul in Romans, it says a Jew is someone who keeps the commandments.
Yep, Romans 2.
Yeah, right after he excoriates those who have the law, the embodiment, knowledge, and truth, but yet still break the law. So it's like, it seems as if he's talking about in his day, all these synagogues that were all throughout Asia Minor, which is in chapters 1 through 3 of Revelation, those 7 churches were all in Asia Minor. And these synagogues were all throughout Asia Minor that they rejected Christ. They didn't accept him as a valid prophet of Israel. So they would have been rejecting the Father too. And that means they're not keeping the commandment of Deuteronomy 18, no matter how many other commandments they keep. You know what I mean?
And the Jews would say that's Islam, that they're the synagogue of Satan. That's that argument right there.
Everybody throws it to everybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that how it
Who wants
is?
that title? Who wants that title? Let's keep it a buck.
Right.
Who was the synagogue? Like, who was the authority of the synagogue at the time of Yeshua when he was here?
Was it
Pharisees, Sadducees?
Pharisees, Sadducees, right? The
Mhm.
sect,
What's his name?
these
Who was-
these sects that have this beef, like nobody really agrees on the same thing, but they're still in the position of authority. You know what I'm saying?
well,
They
that's
sat in
another
the
thing
seat of
too.
Moses.
Yeah.
What's that?
They sat in the seat of Moses. Jesus said.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They were in the position of being a authority over something, a people, a group of people that were, commanded to be under the same law that they were preaching, but they were not keeping or doing the same. You know what I mean?
But they weren't really preaching it. They were actually preaching man-made traditions and actually forsaking God's commandments.
The actual commandment. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what Yeshua got on them about heavy in Matthew 15.
Maybe that's
There-
like a description of who the synagogue of Satan is too. Like the people who do that in modern times now, who preach to do something, but they're not even doing it themselves. You know what I mean? Or changing it to where it suits the culture and not the actual scripture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so all Christians, Orthodox Jews, because they put the Talmud over really the commandments,
Yep.
and Islam, what they claim to be Abraham religion. In their Quran actually tells them they have to follow the Gospels and the Torah, but they come up with very creative ways why they don't.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
it
guys
might
know
be-
that there's a guy that works that I've been hiring for a couple of years. He's a part of a company that they do some of the websites work and the app work that I have. He's a developer, and he's from Pakistan. The company, I don't know if the company's from, but anyway, he's one of them on the team, and I talk with him a lot. And he's from Pakistan, and he's always trying to get me to like to convert to Islam, right? Because he found out that I'm an anti-Trinitarian Christian, and he thought that was just wild. He was like, "Wait, there's Christians who don't believe in the Trinity?" I was like, "Oh, you have no idea, brother." So like but then he's like, "Well, why don't you join Islam?" And so I said, "Hey, because I need a high priest." Yes, you just completely ignore the fact that Christ is his high priest. You just think he was a prophet, and you guys did bicker about whether he actually died or not. I was like,
It's in the Quran that he didn't. Yeah, in the Quran it says Allah took Jesus off the cross and deceived the people into thinking it was Jesus. It's also adamant, like there's over a dozen verses in the Quran that say Allah has no son. He begot no son. That's the biggest reason. That's the biggest reason I can't, conform to the idea that Allah is the same Abrahamic faith and that Allah is Yahweh. If Allah had no son, he's not Yahweh.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. You know what's interesting about what you just said, though, is you dig in that Quran and you can prove that Yahusha was given the word to give to the Jews. It's interesting. They a whole lot.
There's some interesting stuff about Jesus. Yeah, when he's a child, he gives life to some clay and spits in it, and it becomes a bird in the Quran. What else?
That's
lots
from
of things.
that's from the Gospel of
Mary.
Gospel of Mary, right? Yeah.
One of those, or the infant gospel, something like
But
that.
yeah, no. It literally says that he was given the gospel to preach. You know what I'm saying, and not to hate them. It's literally in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
and so they have to follow the Gospels, but they say we don't have the correct gospel and the Torah is not correct. So they say they don't have to follow it because we don't have it.
Even though we have the manuscript evidence to prove that some from before the time of the Quran was being written and published or whatever, that we have the Gospels matching up. We have all the texts matching up.
Not only that, they agree with the Isaiah scroll being legit. So if that's the case, and they agree that it hasn't been tampered with, and I mean, all Abrahamic faiths say that, and we know what
Dead Sea Scrolls.
What about the Injil, though?
Injil.
They can't say that about the Gospels, and they'll look at the Gospels that we have today, and they'll say, "Oh, they're corrupted." Why? Because they don't suit their
Com-
their
com-
description and their image that they paint Jesus to be. It's very simple
convenience.
to see that too, according to their book. You know what I mean?
Even their quote unquote food laws, you know what I'm saying, it's all convenient how it doesn't really, match it, because the
Right.
Torah is simply
Right.
wrong. So they can eat I forgot what they eat that
Camel.
they're really not. It's kind of something specific that they always eat that they're not supposed to eat. That's unclean in God's
Hmm.
eyes.
Well, I
It's a
want to say
shellfish.
Sunnis do, but Shiites, I think maybe it's backwards. I don't know. But one sect, they say it's okay to eat camels, and then the other ones say no, it's not in the Quran to eat unclean like that.
There's another popular food though that's like, good. Well, you shouldn't be eating that they eat.
Oysters.
Yeah, I think it's that. Might be that.
It might be oysters or something like that.
Shrimp or
some type of
lobster.
shellfish.
Yeah.
Man, all I know
Yeah, I
is
think
they
it's
got a book full
shellfish.
of lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, shellfish. Yeah. Yep.
Shellfish.
They can eat shellfish.
Shrimp. Eating
Hmm.
some shrimp.
Yep, shrimp. It's convenient.
Mm.
Everything's convenience. When you really think about most major groups of religion, it's all convenience. Because in their mind, the Torah's wrong, the gospel wrong, so we don't follow that. We made up our own food thing. And then with Catholics, it's just all convenience. The Sabbath was replaced with the Lord's Day, even though the Bible never says the Lord's Day is Sunday, anywhere, nowhere, zilch, zero
Right.
places. It is.
No.
Because the church fathers say so. It's all beautiful.
Yeah,
And none of
speaking
these.
of Ephesus, it was the Council of Ephesus where they changed. They forced people to observe Sunday and threatened them with observing Saturday.
Yeah, and in the Council of Laodicea, Canon 29, they said if you do observe the 7-day Sabbath, then you are separated from Christ.
No, you're
Anathema.
right. That's right. It's not Ephesus. It's Laodicea. Yeah, you're right.
It's
Crazy.
just interesting. Everything is convenient, and none of their holidays are from paganism at all. It's no influence of pagan gods. It's all lies. Even though it's exactly the same. Like Halloween, it's like literally I'm talking about no, and then it says Hallows Eve. And Hallows Eve, y'all didn't go knocking on doors asking for candy. That just didn't happen.
That's wild. So do you guys think that we are on the preface of another great world war, or do you think that's just more media control designed to put fear in us? What do y'all think?
It's possible.
I'm gonna be honest.
I would say yes.
I
would
think
say-
that we're gonna enter into some sort of like little golden age for a little second, and then things are gonna get bad. It's kind of what it seems like to me, especially because a lot of stuff that they're doing behind the scenes, like there's a lot of jobs being lost. I have a good feeling that AI is gonna replace a lot of these things. You got these checks that they're talking about sending out and all that. Like the system has to build trust in the people before things go crazy. Otherwise, then what? You know what I'm saying? I just have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of buildup, but it does seem like there might be some sort of tension. I wouldn't say like soon, but in the near future, maybe.
I would personally say we all think of war as just a physical, bodies, blood, tanks, all this, what I'm saying, artillery and busting shots.
Oh, I know where you're going. This is
But
good.
think about like the spiritual war that we've been in as Christians in America. We've already been at war. Like the war has already been started. You know what I mean? We don't really, if we're not walking in the spirit, you can't really see it. But they're already persecuting us through media, through social media, through, painting people in a certain fashion to draw people away from the truth. It all starts. Look at all the wars that have happened, especially when wars that America has been a part of. It's always a part of propaganda and spreading lies or some type of deceit to steer people in a direction to believe a certain way, or you know what I'm saying. I see it as a spiritual. I think there's going to be physical. We're going to see the physical one day too, for sure. But
I think it's good.
On the land, you think you're going to see it on the land of the United States?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's gonna go one or two ways. I think there's gonna either be a peace first. I think Trump is going to in his various ways, bring about peace of all nations, right?
Facts.
But
First Thessalonians 5.
yep. But
I
here's
agree.
the thing. I do think that's going to backfire because of the way he's doing it. Because Trump currently is basically bullying people because he's throwing around the power of America and
We just talked
and
about that. Yeah.
For
yeah,
real.
and making people submit to what he wants, and what he wants is peace, so he can be the person that say, "I brought peace to everybody." But I do think there's going to be a nation that defies that and possibly start a real physical war, and I think it's going to be a complete world war. I think everybody's going to take sides because if you just watch how Trump is doing it, it's literally him just bullying his way
You
through.
see what he just did to Zelensky the other day?
To Zelensky, but he also did it to Canada. He's throwing around tariffs
yeah.
and all types of. He was bullying everybody, and every time there's a bully, soon there's going to be somebody to push back against the bully. It's just really that's just nature. And I
Yeah.
think one or two things going to happen. Maybe both of those things will happen over time. But I think Trump will do whatever it takes to claim he's the one that brought peace, or
Yeah.
and somebody's going to push back, and there's going to be a world war.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
they
that-
want to be able to have a limited population in order to control, and the best way to kill off large parts of the population would be to diminish them through war, world
Yep.
war.
Yep.
Facts.
Wars and rumors of
Yeah,
wars.
I see that happening, Bryson. I see Trump bringing peace, which everybody's gonna flock to and be like, yeah, that's what we need. We have this. They create this issue, and then we need a solution to it, and that solution will cause us to all join in to be for it. And then once it doesn't go in that direction, boom, now it's turned on everybody. Everybody that was in a part of it. Now you're invited to this type of persecution. You know what I mean?
On top of that, oh, sorry, go ahead, Wes.
No, you first, brother.
Oh, I was gonna say, on top of that too, like you take his invitation to the Sanhedrin, and not only that, the whole Jared Kushner business and all of that, and it seems like there is a pretty good push for peace. You do run into this situation with the Pope where they have some sort of beef out in the public. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But I could definitely see him being in the talks for these things, at least like a brief peace.
Yeah. But is it the ultimate final war that we're reading about in Revelation? I think was one of the prompts and the question for tonight's discussion, right? I don't think so either, because like I was saying, we're going to have to see these 5 trumpet judgments, these worldwide cataclysmic, catastrophes of trumpet judgments that will affect. It'll be undeniable. You can't say, oh, it didn't happen or it already happened, when other people are saying, when did it happen? Everybody's going to know it's happening when it's happening. And then it's that 5th trumpet when the beast comes out of the pit and makes war against the people. And then Yeshua comes back. And this is another reason why I don't think the beast is going to be like the Pope, like a little old shriveled man, because Yeshua literally fights this character at his coming.
Beat down old people.
Molly Wop.
Beating them old people.
Molly
Elder abuse.
Right, Bryson, you know about that boxing, bro. You about to put it on him.
Hey man, you got come on, man. A few
Unlike
combos.
Tank
Somebody
last
gotta
night,
do
what
it.
happened? What happened?
Somebody got to do it.
No, I'm saying,
Tank got exposed as he should have.
man, I agree. I agree.
We got time for a music break.
Yeah, we do.
Let's get it.
I want to play Bryson a song. Let's play Prayer Line real quick.
Okay.
Play it. Let's see.
Could we? Appreciate it, brother.
Let's do it. Hang on 1 second.
It's gonna be me and Bobby, and then Bobby and J.O. got a new song too, don't they? What? Some of that new?
Here we go.
I've been waiting. Bobby ain't dropped no album in 18 years.
Every day.
That's hilarious.
It's coming. It's coming.
Pray for at least 4 minutes against the evils of this world. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
Well, it's 4:44 and I'm talking on my prayer line. My God is flyer than any airline. Had to put my paradigm up. These are rare times. I'm seeking truth and they twiddle thumbs in their spare time. Woe to mankind. It's the end time. Repent, cause the kingdom is at hand time. You can hear the call like it's ringing on a landline. Truth is going up and it's blowing up like a landmine. Holy Spirit, activate. Yeah, they know it when they hear it cause it captivating. Like a trumpet from the Revelation chapter 8. I spit flame from the dome, then I wrap the tape. It's all praise to the Most High. Know why? Cause his ways are so fly. No lie, and I keep his word close by. And he set me free, so they wanna know why. When I float by, it's about time that they weaponized truth. Let me testify, so they let the lies loose. Get the armor of God on, the weaponized suit. Ain't no itty bitty demon gonna mess with my crew. I was really down bad and without God. All the thoughts that I had were to doubt God, but I made it out now from living in downtown, and I bow down to everything about God. And I had to put off the flesh like a Fortnite skin. I was living in about 145 sins. If I had the foresight, then I would have forthright repented before my short life might end. Lost in the world, but yet he still saved me. Met me where I was, and radically he changed me. Heart like a rock of flesh when he gave me. Now I give praise to Yahweh who made me. Wes Blaze.
That's who we're really fighting. Yes, there are human agents that are being used by these spiritual agents, but let's go ahead and attack the tree at its root, right? Attack the spirit realm that is waging this war.
Now it's 4:44, talking on a prayer line with a big eye. To another day, I pray that I could get by. When life happens, sometimes I don't get why. Things gotta be rough and tough like a burnt ribeye, but my faith blazing. Wifey told me that it's only a season, now we passing and we can make it through if I keep praising. And if you cop the album, you would know that I believe he's truly amazing. So now it's time for war, so we lay in the cut. Every weapon double-edged, yo, we taking them up. So every enemy to step up, we slaying them up. Feel like the world sleep too, so we shaking them up. So wake up, Messiah coming like a thief in the night. But don't trip, you only burn if you ain't living it right. With no light, it's hard to see your enemies. It's like missing the mark like a shooter with a broken sight. But fight the fight, just repent, confess, believe. Put on Christ, only bulletproof vest you'll need to dodge death. No need for luck, yes indeed. With just a little bit of faith like a mustard seed. But Christ died, you can say that he the first to bleed. And when it's time to go, I'ma be the first to leave. Screaming death to this world, nothing worse than greed. But just living in Babylon, it kinda hurts to breathe. I'm like asthmatic plus illmatic, my soul glow. Up on these tracks I blow, that's no homo. Way before COVID, I was killing them with the cold flow. Now my ghost rider's the rule. If you don't know, my whole squad send praise up. If you lukewarm, buddy, better raise up. Persecution coming, but it won't phase us. Let the holy rule like the path till our days up. I'm staying prayed up, prayed up.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
That fresh new produced by Bobby Thorns, brought to you by Wes Blaze and Bobby Thorns.
That was fire. That was tough. The
You enjoyed it?
rhyme schemes was crazy. I ain't gonna even lie. The rhyme schemes was crazy.
Appreciate it, Bryce.
Hey, I'll be right back. I just got an on-call from my neighbor. I gotta turn on their water heater. It'll be like 5 minutes. I'm so sorry.
All right, we'll see you in a few. Money calls.
Yeah, this
I gotta
my
go brush
job,
my
my
teeth
bad.
real quick. I'll be right back.
Thank you, Bryce. I appreciate the kind words.
Yes, sir.
Good job on that, Bobby. You did great.
Man, it ain't done yet. We gotta finish that one up, joint.
I know it.
Send me some boom bap beats, Bobby. Come on, man.
Boom bap.
Yeah, I sent you that one. Did you get it?
Yeah, that joint was fire. Oh, you want me to get rap to it? I thought you was gonna put words to it. You was gonna collab on it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna so I extended the I don't know if you listened to the beat, the version of what beat I had, but I extended it to like 24 bars, so we got some time to really go in. But I think the one I sent you was probably just 16, I think.
Okay, bet. Either way, I'm with it.
But yeah,
And
I'm gonna try to record mine today, and then I'll send it to you.
Hey,
Okay.
any more y'all got a empty 16 on? Please let me know. I'm trying to top the iTunes charts with Bryson.
I mean, you gotta, man. I ain't had the iTunes chart. Well, I have, but that's what albums. With singles, that was more with the political stuff. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was,
With the,
yeah.
with the biblical stuff, you got to really get it out of the mud.
I know it.
So we got Bobby's gonna and JR are gonna release a premiere at the end of the stream. But Bryson, you just released a whole new album, which is awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, it's funny. I just shot a reel to a song. It's not out yet. I shot a reel for the other day, and I have one of your videos playing in the background of the reel. You can actually see it.
Okay.
One of Sean's videos? That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
Just-
I didn't know you could actually see it in the reel, but I'm sitting in front of the TV, so like literally it's Sean in the reel the whole time.
You're just gonna make Ruslan mad, bro. So, why are the people out here listening to this dude with 300 subs?
It's all right.
Man, making people mad wouldn't be my first time.
Hey, so I want to give my audience some exposure to your new album. Is there a song you want to play from that real quick?
Off the top of my head,
One with a video,
no,
maybe.
all of them got videos.
Okay.
You know me, I'm a workaholic. Study thyself, approve, or love thy neighbor, whichever one.
Study.
Okay.
Bible rap.
You feel me? That Bible rap for real.
Yeah, Bible rap.
Love thy
Let's get to
neighbor.
that
I'm really
scripture.
literally basically reading Leviticus 19. I just made it rhyme in the
Nice.
second
Pretty
verse.
awesome. All right, let me pull that one up real quick.
Do it.
I'm out of breath over here. I was running.
Good job, J.O.
These Lambo feeties.
He's out there loving his neighbors right now.
Hey,
Right
I
now.
just told him, yo, I'm so sorry. I said, bro, we love our neighbors around here.
Yeah,
Word.
already.
Y'all-
Praise
y'all,
God.
go ahead and fill the space. It's going to take me a minute to download this real quick. Because
Oh, that's cool.
if I just play it from his channel, the sound quality is horrible. So I got to download it real quick.
Oh snap! I didn't know that.
Spit a verse for us, J.O.
What are we playing?
You gonna spit a verse? He's gonna play a Bryson song, one of Bryson's new joints.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
here it
the
goes.
verse I just wrote. I'm out of breath. Give me 1 second. I just
Freestyle.
ran
All
out.
right, hey, J.O., catch your breath. I'm going to play this song real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
drop a freestyle.
Is it? Wait a minute. Where'd it go? All right, 1 second. It didn't download.
Go ahead, J.O. Spit it.
I thought we was waiting.
We was.
It's sorry for confusion. I'm trying to. There it is. All right, there it is. Here we go.
The new Bryson.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Blowing through the jasmine in my
They think they know what love thy neighbor mean. But you ain't never read Leviticus 19. Matthew 22 ain't what you think. Jesus quoted what was written in that ink. If you tryna get in them scripts, then let's link. Study in his word, me and Christ and sing. Hold on. Hey, you not understanding what you reading. You see the words, but you don't see the meaning. You're supposed to be prepared in and out of season. Trying to understand Christ without the Torah, boy, you tweaking. You don't know the context, but you preaching. Because you wanna be accepted by the heathen. How you gonna read that? There's only some bleeding. They gon' say I'm rapping, but I'm teaching. Love thy neighbor, it's already explained in the scripts. Leviticus gives the details and criteria to hit. Christians use it out of context because ignorance is bliss. Leviticus 19:13, no, we going down that list. Hold on. They think they know what love thy neighbor mean. But you ain't never read Leviticus 19. Matthew 22 ain't what you think. Jesus quoted what was written in that ink. If you tryna get in them scripts, then let's link. Study in his word, me and Christ and sing. Hold on. Hey. Don't oppress your neighbor. Do not rob your neighbor. What else? Do not hold his wages, cause it ain't your paper. Don't show partiality, and when you judge, it's fair. Don't slander or jeopardize your neighbor's life like you don't care. What else? And do not hate your neighbor in your heart. Now let's show what church is keeping in the dark. Rebuke your neighbor and don't let him cause you to sin. Hold on, somebody better go read that again. Don't take vengeance on your neighbor, nor hold a grudge. I just showed you how to give your neighbors love. Love. They think they know what love thy neighbor mean. But you ain't never read Leviticus 19. Matthew 22 ain't what you think. Jesus quoted what was written in that ink. If you tryna get in them scripts, then let's link. Study in his word, me and Christ and sing. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's
Yo,
great. Love it.
thank you for playing the song for
That's
all the
dope.
viewers.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
They don't know
Yeah.
the context, but they preaching.
But they
Love it.
preaching. Literally,
We see
I
it
get
all the
confused.
time.
To the audience out there, everyone's names on the panel is in the video description. Just click on their names. It's hyperlinked. You guys go make sure you subscribe to all their channels, support their work, buy their music. This is how we keep good content out there, is by supporting it. So please, let's all go check them out.
Yes.
Much love, brother.
It's crazy
Praise
how
God.
It's crazy how people don't know that this new commandment to love thy neighbor is only in the New Testament, and they never think to look into the Old Testament.
Oh, I literally have that conversation. I had this debate on Twitter probably once a week, at least, and people were mad at me today on or X. I'm sorry. They were saying that love thy neighbor is the law of Christ. It's a new commandment, and I said, actually, it's in the what you call the Mosaic law, what you call.
Right.
And they said no, it isn't. It's just a sum of the Ten Commandments. I said it's a literal Mosaic law from in your eyes. It literally is.
Right.
And they said no, it's not. And then I screenshotted the entire excerpt, which I literally quoted in a song, and they found ways around it or something. They said it's like people. Christians, bro, they will come up with really anything they need to come up with in the moment to make themselves feel better. It's like the prophecy in Isaiah 65 and 66 where it says who eats pig's flesh and unclean meats, and then the context is heaven and earth passing, which is just literally
In
about
times.
end times. And they said, and somebody said, no, this happened when the temple was destroyed already. It already happened. I said it's nearly impossible. Like it is impossible for this to have
So what
already
they're
came to
indirectly
pass.
saying is that prophecy of Isaiah is not going to come to pass.
Boom. So I asked somebody, I said, is Isaiah a false prophet? And the first thing they said, I have this on a space, it's recorded on my X
That's
app,
cold.
and they said, well, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm like, well, this is a prophecy about how people that eat pig's flesh and unclean meats in their pots will be judged harshly. And they said, well, Jesus came. Jesus came and nullified a prophecy by Isaiah, because if anybody says something and they say it's in the name of God and it don't happen, they're a false prophet. And I was like, this will make this worse. This will mean God himself a false prophet. It's the person talking. And Isaiah 65 and 66.
See, that's the damage of not knowing the scriptures, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy how many Christians these days don't realize how many prophecies are in what they call the Old Testament, in the law and the prophets, that have not yet come true. There's so many words. What is it? Over 1,000 words just in Isaiah alone about the New Jerusalem kingdom and the millennial reign and Yeshua's return. A lot of Christians think, oh, that was already all fulfilled and that we don't have to worry about any of it anymore, that none of it's coming true anymore. It already did. That's wild to me.
Bro, you literally repeated one of my tweets today.
Oh, word. I didn't see it.
Because a lot of prophecies are problematic for most Christians. It can't exist. Either you're right or they are false prophets. It's really the only options.
Right.
That's it.
Well said. Yeah, they say the same thing about love your enemy. They think that the Old Testament taught that you got to destroy your enemies all the time, right? Because they see Yahweh sending people to go to war with them. But it's in there, right? Exodus talks about if your enemies, oxen, cow comes to your yard, you return it to them. Proverbs says feed and give water to your enemies. It's in the testaments of the 12 patriarchs too. Like these guys knew that was the law of God. It was always the spirit of the law.
Facts.
In fact, I was just queuing this up when you mentioned that, Wes. Bryce, J.O. and Bobby, have you ever seen this interview, this discussion I did with this pastor?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
I don't think so, no.
All right, so this
he gets big mad at the end.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, like, this is 3 hours of just gruesome torture about this topic of like him just trying to justify, like, oh, we're not doing the Old Testament, and I just keep bringing verse after verse to him, and he just wants to ignore it. And this is a pastor out of Seattle. I think he's in Seattle, Washington, and not the guy with the big beard. That's just his friend, but the pastor's in the headphones, and so this is just a clip from that 3 hours, but. After we went over love your enemies and I showed him the Old Testament passages for that he wasn't even aware of, then I asked him this question, which is wild.
No, right?
Did the Messiah eat pork?
Definitely not.
Okay, do that then.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep eating pork because the Messiah declared all foods clean.
No, he didn't, brother. No, he didn't.
So it's just not as simple as let's do what the Messiah did. It's like, no, I'm going to reinterpret opposite behavior of the Messiah and then try to teach that. And it's just, it's a weird place of confusion that we're in right now. Body.
Yeah, the Mark 7, Matthew 15 thing is so hilarious. Because first off, I'm not in Matthew 15. Secondly, somebody was telling me, the thus he declared all fools clean is in the Greek. I said, I guarantee you it isn't. And then he said, well, the all fools
That's
being
added.
made clean is in the Greek. I said, but the thus he declared isn't. And they said, yes, it is. I said, show me which Greek word for declared is used right there in any manuscript.
None
You
of
can
them.
choose, pick and choose any. You can choose the latest manuscript you want to. Let's find it. And he realized it wasn't there. And I was like, because literally, and I said, it's going to sound so silly. I said, for starters, he was using how we poop as
Exactly.
as an example,
Purge.
which purge the foods. And they're like, you're so silly. All the Christians on Twitter was like, oh, you're so silly, such a silly person. And I said, well, this is gonna be worse. I said the context is actually about washing your hands before you eat bread. I said that's what the context is. They're like, oh yeah, you're silly. You just rely on your own brain. I said, or you can try reading the chapters, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, he says it goes in through the mouth and we purge it out. And like you said, and they try to make that about him doing away with his father's law that he was supposed to keep perfectly. It makes no sense.
Well, he
Even
himself
Acts
said it
chapter
doesn't
10
pass.
too.
Yeah.
They use Acts chapter 10 a lot.
Yeah,
That's the
They say
silliest
that-
one because they can just
They
read
say
it.
they say God said
Get up, kill and eat.
what I called
Rise.
what I called clean, or what do you say? What you call unclean? Or unclean?
Sorry.
Yeah, they twisted it around for sure.
The
But
sad
he
thing about Acts
he
10,
didn't use the word. He didn't use the word. What is it? There's
Common.
common
you get the
is Cairo, not Kairos. Is it Kairos? No, that's time, isn't it? Kurios. No, that's Lord. What's the word? They use a Greek word to call common, and then the other word is akartatos, which means unclean. So one is like the definition of a unclean animal by nature, and the other means to be defiled, which means to be changed into a unclean, something that's unclean or not suitable for a sacrifice or edible or whatnot.
Consumption.
The funny thing about Acts 10 is not only did Peter explain what the dream meant in that chapter, but I mean, like literally the entire first half of Acts 11 is him re-explaining it again to a different group of people. Like I'm talking about, like you can't miss it unless you know something Peter did himself.
Right.
That's right.
Hey, context,
context, man. People just
chapter and verse.
Yeah, people just gotta like read it, man. It literally says right after the vision, Peter says Peter was perplexed by the vision. And Christians don't even know that part exists for starters. Trust me. They don't even know that even phrase is there. And then when he finally explains it that it's about the Gentiles, he then leaves and go to explain it to another group of people how it's about Gentiles. And somehow Christians still come up with it was about all fools being clean. Amazing.
Oh, wait. I got it. Hang on.
Hey, I can spit that whenever you want.
Amazing.
Jesse Peterson.
Get some JLP in there.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy because many times it's getting harder for me to have pastors on my show because my channel's gotten bigger now. So like they can go check out other videos and realize, it's not gonna go well for them. So like but I'm gonna keep trying. Because these conversations are just gold, right? It's just exposing the hypocrisy, the doublespeak that's in the church these days. And people the average pew sitter, my prayer is that it encourages people to actually start reading their Bibles so they can start applying it regardless of what their pastor says. Because unfortunately, as the ads gets filmed on these interviews, is that these pastors will say the exact opposite of the Bible with full conviction because they've been emboldened by the seminary they've been trained in. And so it's a rough time to be in because like I feel like we're in like this weirdness where like Christ is still over the church. He has the Holy Spirit to give to us, to help us and guide us because he knows we were going to be in this massive era of just like ridiculous teachers that run around, shouldn't be teaching. And he's still bringing out commandment keepers in spite of all the thousands of denominations and bad teachings out there.
Where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. For that very reason.
Yeah,
Feel me?
that's pretty wild.
Covers and transgressions, man.
Hey,
guys, my wife's got dinner ready, so I'm gonna have to jump off soon. But did we want to say some final things before we go and then play this new track?
I thought you wanted me to spit some right quick.
Oh yeah,
go ahead, brother.
I could do it. All right, y'all. I was in a long all right, well, check it. I was in a dark place for a long time, wilding in the night, lost sight with a gone mind. Never set on right, on sight. I was on crime. Then I met the Christ, found treasure like a gold mine. And ever since that day, I never been the same. These trials and tribulations, I find pleasure in the pain. A purpose in my affliction, I'm weathering the rain and strengthening through the struggle. Man, it's a blessing, I'm still sane. Man, I ain't want to live. I put a barrel to my dome. Now when I'm pressed, I send a prayer to Abba throne. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's lit.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Now you gotta spit something, Bryson.
Oh man, nah.
Hey, then Wes and then Bobby.
I could play a song I just made, but it might get banned. It may get the whole live stream. I'm not even joking.
You're gonna get his video taken down.
Bryson, you write like a song every day?
I don't know. I have spurts, so it's like I'll go a month. I might make like 50 songs in a month, and then like I'll lose whatever that is that God gave me, and I won't make a song for like 3 weeks. So I go like in spurts. But when I have a good spurt, I'm talking about like I can make some. I have like 70 unreleased songs right now, but I've only made one song in like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? If there was spurts, bro, it'd be piling up.
That's awesome.
I got something for you.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah.
Look. I grew up around killers from the gate. It was negative. Could barely give a flying duck about life because they barely did. We buried kids, measured the pain, found it was very big and withered like that tree that Yeshua saw didn't carry figs. Felt like hopping in my grave to rest. So weary from this battle with sin, so many to confess. Try to blow some trees, but that only led me to the stress. Surrender to Yeshua the Christ. There ain't no second best. I shoot these scripts to your heart. You best to wear a vest and best believe I knew from the start I had to bear the test. Never been perfect, but he's still working on my head and chest. Holy Spirit got me thinking murder, time to dead the flesh. I tarry in cemeteries, shed tears on headstones. Scary because someone never know fear till they dead bones. But you can get connected, just don't get caught up in dead zones and listen to the truth that's a Bible strapped up with headphones.
It is what it is.
Amen.
Nah.
Just wait, y'all.
Right.
We got something in the works, man. For
Y'all
real.
cooking something in the lab.
Hey, look,
I'm looking forward to it.
this. I feel like Abba benched me this last year. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong, and it ended off the year with my laptop being completely fried and lost all work. So I had a good brother, actually, a really, really good brother of mine, reached out and actually bought me a laptop because your boy is the brokest rapper you know. And hey, it's going down now. Abba gave the go.
Oh man,
that is amazing.
He's so amazing. Yo, he provided such a beautiful way when I needed it.
Yes, he does.
He always does.
Yes,
He always does.
All the time.
Every time.
all the time.
Amazing.
Y'all is good. And let me just say this. Okay, my brother, I don't even need to write the biz, and you already know what time it is. And you know full well that the day of the Lord is coming like a thief in the night it is. And they can keep on yelling out peace and safety. But then the destruction will come upon them so sudden like a woman in labor with a baby. Something is coming and they will not escape it. But you, my brother, better not be in darkness, so the day doesn't overtake you like a thief. Be a son of the light that we harness. Stay woke. We don't got to be asleep. Get right. Don't impede your eyesight. They don't want to wake up. They need a nightlight. When they want to get drunk, they feed the nightlife. We don't need to sip some just to feel life like. Put on the breastplate, faith and love. Put on the helmet, the hope of salvation. We are not appointed to the wrath from above, but the light from the Christ, the hope of all nations. And he died for you if you're dead or alive, and we can live together with him. You're forever alive. And that's 1 Thessalonians 5. You better get right.
Was
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
I got
Praise
nothing over here, guys. I just play the guitar.
No. It's your turn, buddy.
Yeah, you're up, bro.
No, I don't
It's
got
your
any.
turn. Bar it up, bro. Armageddon. I mean, hit him with that bar mitzvah.
At least hit him with some chords or something.
No,
Hey, he can sing.
I'm not prepared.
He can sing. He can sing. Don't let him fool you. I've heard it.
Word.
Yeah, one day when I finish the things I'm working on, when I finish my study guide and I finish my other stuff I'm doing, one day I'll get in the studio because I got a lot of music. Here, I got this. This is my music.
I like it.
So I've got lots of. I probably could put like 5 albums out with like 10 tracks per album because I've just been writing for a long time. But
You gotta get.
I just don't feel.
gang.
I don't feel called to be in that vein right now. But maybe in the future when I finish some stuff, then I'll get on it. But
like David and Asaph with the songs.
Yeah.
Already.
You'll hear him from time to time. I just get a wild hair when I have some free time on Sabbath from time to time, and I'll sing something and record it. But as far as getting in the studio and polishing it and making it nice, I'm not there yet. So, all right, guys,
we'll get there. I'm in the studio right now.
We got one more world premiere.
We got another world premiere here from Bobby and Jo. I appreciate everybody coming on to this panel. It's awesome. Lots to discuss and consider for the audience. As always, guys, go read your Bible. Go study the stuff for yourself. Don't take our words for it. We try to bring our studied opinions to this, but the Bible's not going to change. Men's opinions may change, so please go study the scriptures for yourselves. And I appreciate all you solid brothers in the faith being on here and continuing to change the culture with what God's given you. So bless you.
Bless God and may bless y'all.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Love y'all, brothers, man.
So everyone, we'll play this last song as we end, okay? Y'all have a great night.
Y'all been good, y'all. Remember that.
Yeah. Hey, look. Yeah, you know what time it is. Y'all been good all of the time, yeah, and I've been fine, and I'm gonna shine that light of mine till I hit that pine. Sign your pity and the runny kind. Till the day I'm dying and I'm on that day. We living in New Zion. We set free, we tied to no fine. Y'all been good all of the time, yeah, and I've been fine, and I'm gonna shine that light of mine till I hit that pine. Sign your pity and the runny kind. Till the day I'm dying and I'm on that day. We living in New Zion. We set free, we tied to no fine. Sadate, better get y'all that praise for all his ways. Remember, came a long, long way from the days in the A. We's blazing the hay, sit sideways in the haze in the tray. Dead in dismay, headed to the grave in the craze. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah for the save. That's big love. Handed down from the Elohim, the root ascended like a dove from the Shamayim. We set apart, set aside, we the Nazarene. Let's have a kingdom broken chain gang, that I mean. Remain in his rain, man, while I swing in the rain. We gon' count it all joy, cause pain ain't a thing, but paint in the art in the young testimony. Yeah, we changing my heart, I'm just blessed to know that he's holy, holy. I was lost up sinning, but the boss at the cross, but the cost to enter the tenant. I'm a representative, I am a tenant, I've been a minute, he centered. Then when you've been a can't dim it, no limited, a master P from opacity to per capacity. It'll pass you, see, don't put it past them. G, sat out one time and just chant with me. Y'all been good all of the time, yeah, and I've been fine, and I'm gonna shine that light of mine till I hit that pine. Sign your pity and the runny kind. Till the day I'm dying and I'm on that day. We living in New Zion. We set free, we tied to no fine. Y'all been good all of the time, yeah, and I've been fine, and I'm gonna shine that light of mine till I hit that pine. Sign your pity and the runny kind. Till the day I'm dying and I'm on that day. We living in New Zion. We set free, we tied to no fine.
Y'all been good for all of my days. He worthy to praise, but stained on mahogany wood. Like a carpenter took a few nails and completed the job like he promised he would. I answered the call like I knew that I should. And when I'm broken down, he pop in the hood. Then I'm on the road again like really for really. He got me, don't get him misunderstood. He real with it. Trials come, he gon' deal with it. Glory to the Father, he a good dad. When everybody gone, he gon' still visit. Pray for the rule, but get filled with it. His holy name gets sealed with it. Living water with man on my meal tick. A hunger for his truth, and he will give it. So praise Yah, cause he too nice. Gave his life to make new life, and gave us the power to walk in the spirit, the fear of Yahuwah, my new right. So when life's crap like 2 dice, call on the name of that true Christ. Elevate your soul to go to new heights. Yahshua saves at a true price. Cause
y'all been good all of the time, yeah, and I've been fine, and I'm gonna shine that light of mine till I hit that pine. Sign your pity and the runny kind. Till the day I'm dying and I'm